Welcome to an enlightened hour of interactive talk. This is Guided Spirit Conversations with host Marla Goldberg. In this program, we spotlight guests from all over the globe who have helped others change their lives and will provide you with the tips, tools, and techniques that you need to help you make a difference in your own life. Now, here is Marla Goldberg.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. As you know, I'm Marla Goldberg, your host, and I'm here with Willow Grace. So Willow Grace is a certified Reiki Master teacher. She is a Tarot and Astrology consultant, and she offers educational workshops at Lilydale Assembly in New York. She organizes women's retreats and holistic health and wellness psychic fairs, usually in the spring and fall. This year may be a little bit different. She offers a variety of online workshops teaching tarot and participates, and I love this, with local wineries in Northeastern Ohio, working with tarot on tap. Now, what's better than drinking and having your tarot cards read, right? She hosts Divine Discussions podcast, having divine discussions that explores and educates the public to help people make choices so they can maintain optimal health and wellness. Patty is available for private and public events, and she shares her newsletter twice a month with Lunar Wisdom interpretations. Willow also believes in the power of magic, intuition, and spirituality, as do I. Welcome, Willow.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. Me too. So let's start at the beginning, which is how I always start my shows. Did you realize you had abilities early in your life, like childhood, or did this come later on in life like it did for me?
I always dreamed, and I didn't know that everybody else did not dream. And then I, in my early 20s, went to, I did a past life regression workshop and opened up my eyes to everything. Like, you could not deny what I was seeing was me in the past in different form, and people that were there that were in this lifetime. And then afterwards we discussed it, and the things that I learned about, like, life lessons, repeating, people that you know, like soul family, that truly set me on my path. That I'm a continual learner.
And I am too. So yeah. It's interesting because I work with Chinese medicine. So I'd love to get your birth date on break and see, because, you know, many of us, I mean, there's so many modalities, there's so many interesting facets out there, and more are being developed by people.
Yes.
They're getting their downloads. Like, all of a sudden there's human design. It's like, wow, that's very cool. You know, and people are making up their own modalities. So I think that's great.
Right. This is the time. This is an age of enlightenment that everybody is getting downloads and exploring, and we're focused on being proactive about our health instead of reactive with our health, which I'm excited.
It's so important to be proactive. And you and I had a very spirited discussion before we went live about what's going on with all these planets in retrograde and how they're affecting everyone. Would you mind sort of repeating what we talked about a little bit?
Absolutely. So today, Venus goes direct. We've had a ton of planets that have all been in retrograde. We have Mercury in the sign of Cancer. So that's our communication. Mercury. So everybody's experiencing some kind of glitch or whatever going on now with technology, email, phone. We have Venus coming out today. Jupiter, it's a gaseous planet, and so it wants to expand things, and Capricorn wants to restrict. It's about rules. And so this is us wanting to test the boundaries, but the boundaries are pushing us in. And Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn rules. Aquarius is being, I always say, let your freak flag fly, but it's about thinking. It's explosive and coming up with innovative ideas. So with all this going on, and Pluto and Capricorn, we are taking it as a time of deep introspection and change. We're going to be changing our government structure, our school structure, how we work from the top down. And in a year from now, we're going to be well on our way, and we are now shaping ourselves for the future of more air, less earth, meaning less concrete buildings and more staying connected with people through Zoom, conference rooms, email, tech,
Skype, WhatsApp,
Skype, whatever's out there. If they have a business, they need to get it where people can connect with them through airwaves instead of just a brick and mortar building.
And brick and mortars, I'm sorry to say, are not going to be as
Profitable.
prevalent. They're going to be falling away, which is a shame because it affects so many industries. I mean, you have vacant, and then neighborhoods go down. So you have all these places where there are shops and people love to shop. I know I'm one of them.
Yeah. And I shop local. I always say, go to the local market, go to the local, like support the local artists. And those people are, so we're going to see more of it. And I think that people are going to be not going to festivals, but it will be small local things in their neighborhood.
You know what? I love festivals, but that's really nice. It's homey. It's got that homey sort of small town feel to it. How do you think big cities are going to adjust to this, like a New York or a Chicago or an LA?
I think that they're gonna bring it on down. Our nodes shift, our north node and our south node, they shift about every 18 months, and that's where we're supposed to be focused on. And we're supposed to give up the focus of expansion and focus on what's close at home. So for the next 18 months, we are going to be out visiting and seeing and doing things and staying connected with people that are in our neighborhood. So I think it'll be more close to home, and think neighborhood or, parks, and we're going to be rediscovering what's around us. So I think that people will be doing that, but it'll be very limited and close to home.
It's so fascinating to hear about. What about COVID? What's going on? Are you getting any information about COVID? Are you seeing how that works?
I believe that this is all part of the shift to move us into. Right now, Mars is going to go into the sign of Aries, and things are going to be firing up. That means our feelings for things and people also will be possibility of flaring up. So people are going to have to be a little bit more wary of it. In September 4th, it's going to go retrograde. So I see us with this whole June, July ramping up in energy. August will be a little bit of a more ease and grace. And then September and October, I really believe that things are going to flare back up, and it'll reignite, reflame, revisit, because whenever it's in a retrograde, it's a redo. It's a chance to go back and revisit it.
So then when they talk about a second flare up, it could possibly be around this time, September, October.
I believe it will be. I don't usually predict, but I'm believing that September 4th to the October, I believe that we will revisit a lot of things. Yeah.
That's going to be very, very interesting, on how people take it, how businesses take it, and how we sort of, and I was talking about pivoting before, how important it is to be able to pivot with what's going on and try to figure out your way so that you're not left
behind.
Slack, right,
behind. And this is all setting us up for December 21st. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
So December 21st, this is when we're moving from earth to air. And so this is setting us up that we will then be moving towards more air things. So air waves. So businesses really need, and people, the way we connect with others, need to be more air. And I believe that technology will boom. I believe that we're going to have some things expand, but we're also going to have a tumble down of our government and a rebuilding, like a collapse of and a rebuilding from the bottom, a restructuring, restructuring.
Which I think we need, because things, in my opinion, not to get political, but are a little stale in how they're doing things.
Yeah, we can thank Pluto for that. Yeah.
Every time when you talk about Pluto, my girlfriend has this dog Pluto that goes on, and he says that the computer generate words coming out of his mouth. but he says all these beautiful, loving, wonderful things. So when you mention it, I don't know why this dog is popping into my head. It's so
Maybe
fun.
you need to call her later,
We talk all the time.
Yeah.
So let's go back to your path. So who's the first person, or what was the first class you took to start moving you down your path?
So my mom's very intuitive and has always said, you need to follow your gut. You need to follow your intuition, follow your path, whatever it is. And then when I got into college, I did the past life regression. Then I found a bookstore near me. It was called the Library. It was amazing. And you got to think back 30 years ago, there's no internet, there's no nothing. So
Right.
you had your brick and mortar. They had a lending library that had a little bit of everything. They had a small amount of crystals. The best thing that they had was a classroom that they offered meditation, workshops, classes, you name it, they offered it. And then I was able to find that I was like not alone. So I was able to network with other people and totally dive into different paths and modalities that I did not even know were out there. And it was amazing. And then I networked with other people and spread on out.
Which is amazing when you think about 30 years ago, it wasn't quite the accepted path.
Oh, no, it was that woo-woo. Yeah. And people were afraid of. Yeah.
Fruit and nuts. And people would make fruit and nut jokes and
Yeah.
So how many modalities have you been trained in?
So I do energy wise, I do Reiki and Tarot. Reiki, I'm a Reiki Master. Tarot, what the heck? Reiki and Akadawa. So Reiki comes from the source through us to give to others. Akadawa is transferred from one person to another. And I started both of those modalities. I belonged to, I would go to a place called Merging Heart Spiritual Center, and they would have energy shares once a month. And you could go and receive, or you could go and give. So in the beginning, I would go just to learn, because the gal that led it, Lisa Miller, she would offer something new each time. Let's try tuning forks. We're going to be working with this. Let's try the bowls. Let's try drums. And then there was also the Reiki and the other modalities that were out there. So I was exposed to all of it and said, okay, now I'm hooked. Now I'm an energy junkie. Now I want to receive the Reiki 1, the Reiki 2. Okay, let's be the master. And to give and receive. And it's nice because you can give it and you can give and receive just being in a grocery store line.
How nice is that 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 you can give energy to somebody who might need it?
Yeah.
And who doesn't need, fresh energy?
And pets. Yeah, pets will come. You'll be sitting there and like pets will come up and they'll move their body to the part of their your hand, like if they move it to the hip or whatever, okay, give them a little bit of Reiki there. Their hips are hurting, or so animals are very intuitive to it.
And they're so open to it.
Yeah.
I mean, where you get people who are resistant, like they feel like they say, okay, work on me. But then there's a resistance some people put up, not everyone, but because they just don't know and they're afraid and
they're fearful, right? And then you bring in crystals, and then you bring in essential oils, and then they don't understand why they feel better. And it's about share it, expand it. I believe we will help raise vibration of everybody through our education of everybody.
And it's yes, and the educating everybody. I just wish everybody knew what we know. I wish everybody, because I think that they would be happier.
They would be.
On a whole.
But if we didn't have them, then we would not have our life lessons. Like we have to have people to give us those struggles.
Well, it only helps us be better at what we do because we can be empathetic because we've been there.
Right.
I know from my experience, from my journey, how many hills and ebbs and flows I went through, and it was like, oh my God, the fact that I survived and I'm now where I'm at is almost miraculous.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you on that. Yes.
Absolutely. So are people surprised? What is the reaction people have when you tell them what you do?
Okay, my neighbors are very okay and open and willing to it. And then other people, they will sometimes test me, like and usually it's the astrology that they get, or a quick tarot reading. But the astrology, you can't lie. The numbers don't lie.
It's science.
It's science. Like it makes complete sense. And then when you start telling them about themselves or things in their life, then they take a step back, and you can make a believer out of them, but that doesn't mean that they're going to come back. That just means that they're going to, some people stand on the back, and it's okay,
Or sometimes you tell them about themselves and they're like, oh my God, how did you know that? And then they freak out. I mean, you've just told something that there's no way you would have known whatever that information was.
Right.
It was intuitively, you intuited it, and through the cards, whatever. But then they go, oh my God. And then they shut down again because it's like, it's scary to them. Again, we go back to the fear.
We go back to fear. Mm-hmm.
And fear, I believe, stops everybody from really achieving the full
potential of where they're going. Absolutely.
Yes.
When I do a tarot reading, I will, and somebody will say something to me, or they will question me on it. And I will say, look, my cards don't lie. So it's your story. You tell it how you like. But this is what it is. And it's okay. You do you. And then they'll come around like, okay, yeah, it was. And how did you know? And because the cards don't lie. You picked the cards. Your higher power, your spirit guide helped you to pick the cards so you would receive this message. Now, what you do with it is up to you.
Yeah. And do you ever tell your clients something like, take this information, listen to it, then put it in a file cabinet, and whether it's a virtual file cabinet or not, and then pull it out? Because if what you're telling them, if you're talking about more future things, will change if people are grabbing onto, so for example, someone who's desperate for a relationship, and then you say, oh, I see somebody coming maybe 4 to 6 months away, and 4 to 6 months are like, where is he? Where is he? Is this him? Is this him? It's, to me, it's like grabbing water,
right.
And you lose it. And so do you share that kind of information?
I tell them to take a picture of the tarot, because it's a story, the tarot cards, and remember as I tell them how the story evolves, and that it will evolve and unfold in front of them for them, and to just trust, and to keep their cards, to keep the pictures of them in a separate folder so they can follow along with their life, the changes, and then they can look back and say, oh, this did happen, or oh, this did, or okay, I can trust that this is going to happen.
That's great. You know what? We're going to go into a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about astrological birth charts.
I'm ready.
So stay tuned. Well, I guess we're going to wait a second before.
Oh, you're clear. Sorry about that. back in a couple minutes.
Okay, there we go.
Oh God, you gotta love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love Mercury in retrograde.
It is. So I'm like looking at my chart saying, where is this hitting me? And why is it hitting me here? Like, what lesson am I supposed to be learning? And I get it. And so I am so fortunate that so when you and I were talking, this could have been a whole lot worse. It could have been 10 and I would have missed the appointment. So I learned my lesson. I'm going to process it and look at the numbers and the time a little bit closer. Yeah.
Well, it's just so funny how it works, and you're fine. You're absolutely fine. It just is so funny.
Yeah. So you're into Chinese medicine?
Chinese face reading. Oh, that's right.
Chinese
What's your
face reading?
birthday?
Oh, August 9th, 1966.
Okay. Let me see. I'm doing a cheat, so it's fast.
I encourage you to do a cheat. There's not a lot of time.
August. So your birthday is almost here.
Yeah, coming up again.
Oh, interesting. Okay, not at all what I thought, but it shows you're highly.
I like
intuitive.
a surprise.
Yeah, you're highly intuitive. Your beauty and aesthetics are really important to you. And now here's the thing, you've got your facial features, that's one part of the puzzle. And then you have your birth birth patterns and birth date patterns. And so what I'm telling you is your birth date patterns, but you've got to look at your face as well. And so if something doesn't gel, it's because something's offsetting from your facial features to this. But you're a great hostess. You're great with people. You like to make people comfortable and at ease. And you're like, it's all about somebody else's comfort over yours. So that's the first impression that people make. So, for example, if you're having a dinner party and somebody brings two people along, but it was going to be plated and everything was like divided to the ounce, you would rearrange everybody's plate and you would probably just have your cocktail and whatever nibblies you can have and say, oh, I had a
Make
big
sure
lunch. So I bet everybody else is taken care of first.
Yeah.
As the teacher who taught me says, you'd be like the hostess on the Titanic, the best hostess on the Titanic. You'd have the violins going and everything else while offering hors d'oeuvres as everything's sinking, just to make it a pleasant experience.
Well, there we go.
Just about to come back.
All right, thank you. A surprise, it's the reverse.
You are listening to Guided Spirit Conversations. To reach Marla Goldberg or her guest today, you are invited to call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. If you'd rather send an email, the address is guidedspiritconversations@gmail.com. Now, back to this week's program.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, I'm here with Willow Grace. Willow is a Reiki Master teacher. She's a Tarot and Astrological consultant. She offers educational workshops at the Lilydale Assembly, which is outside of Buffalo, New York, I believe, an hour outside of Buffalo. Willow also organizes women's retreats, holistic health and wellness, psychic fairs, in the spring and fall, but as we were talking about, things are changing, so we'll find out what's going on with that. She offers a variety of online workshops, teaching tarot, and participates at the local wineries offering tarot on tap. Willow also hosts a podcast called Divine Discussions, where she educates the public to helping people make choices so they can obtain optimal health and wellness. She is a believer in power and with the power of magic, intuition, and spirituality. So welcome back, Willow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. So when we left, I said we were going to talk about birth charts and how birth charts are different from other charts. So let's start at the beginning with birth charts. So what kind of information can people expect to get from a birth chart?
The first time I work with someone, I say, okay, so you have to have your exact time, date, and location of your birth. And then I put it together, and then we talk about, I create their wheel, and I talk about the different modalities, the elements. I create a spreadsheet that goes down for every single planet and how the planet affects with the sign and in the house, because it's made up of those three elements. So if you have Aries energy and it's in your sun sign, so you shine with this fiery energy of a starter of Aries, well, what house do you have the energy manifest in? If it's in your first house, it's all about you. If it's in your second house, it's all about money. So I remind people that you are everything when you come into this world. Your exact time, date, and location is like in the heavens, a snapshot, and then we take that and that creates who you are and how you communicate. It gives you your ease and grace, and it also gives you your lessons. So like your trines are your ease and grace, and then your squares are lessons that you need to learn that you're working on. And so we go through, and I believe if you know what you're good at, and then you also know what you're not good at, and you can work with that energy to make it easier for you.
So what happens if you're adopted and you really don't know your exact birth time or even possibly where you were born?
Okay, you have to have somebody going. There are people who are better than me that can rectify a chart. I have a friend who knows her time or her date and location, but not her exact time. And I have said, meditate on it, go to sleep on it, ask your guides to give you the information, or you can do muscle reflex test to narrow down the time, because the exact time means everything. You have to be exact.
So I have somebody who has texted, and her birthday is July 18th, 1957. Can you give her any insights? At 11:50,
Oh, I need my
11:57
chart.
a.m. Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I didn't mean
No,
to catch you.
that's okay.
Well, I
need my-
asked people to call in and
Yeah,
or write
yeah.
in, so
yeah.
I'll
So
tell you, we can get back to that.
I
We'll
promise I will get back to that. Have that person definitely reach out to me, because it's not like it's a quickie. It's actually, I create a booklet for them, and then we go through every single sign, and then I sit down with them for an hour and we talk about every sign and how it affects them and the energy that's manifested with it. And then they can look at, okay, this is who I would work well with and this is who I don't work well with. But no, have them reach out. I would definitely love to work with them.
Perfect. I will. And so sun signs and moon signs, how do they work? I mean, not sun signs, moon signs and rising. How do they work with the sun signs?
So the sun is where you shine. And so in your chart of what house do you shine in and with what energy? Most people will know their astrology sign of, oh, I'm a Taurus. Okay, that's where your sun is. But where do you express that Taurus energy? So what house do you express it in? Our moon, and if you know three signs, if I know three signs about somebody, then we know more than we need to know. Their sun is where they shine. Their moon is their private life, their private side. And then their rising is how we see them. So if we see them as a Virgo, we see them structured, organized, wants to be neat, can be a little bit obsessive about things. Now that's on the positive side. There's always like, the negative side.
The shadow side.
The shadow side. But if you know those three things, and then when we have somebody's chart in front of us, we look at the first house is how people see them, how they're viewed in the world. The seventh house, who they are with, their relationship with others. Their fourth, their family, kids. And then the 10th is their career or how they want to be in the world. So your chart tells everything about you and then some. And then after we do a birth chart, then I say, hey, on your birthday, let's do a solar return. And then that talks about the themes for the next year of your life, because in your birth chart, not everything is activated all at one time. We are here to learn lessons. I say that being here is like being at school. We are learning lessons of connecting with others and our actions. And so our solar return is, what's being activated on our chart that we can work on or work towards for that year, the themes. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah. Absolutely. And so the solar return is so interesting in sharing that information, because it's always interesting to know what do I still need to learn coming up? What's going to come back again and again and again until I get a handle on it and change it.
Until you learn your lesson. Yeah, until you learn whatever the theme is. So I looked at my chart and said, okay, with all these planets that are retrograde, what house are they activated? And that's where I have to be concerned over. That's where I say, okay, I need to work on this house. And then I make sure like friends will call or somebody will say, hey, can you take a quick look at my chart? I'm thinking about investing in this business. And then I look at it and say, okay, your focus right now is in your family, or maybe your focus is on having fun. So it's not focused on business or career, or that's not where your drive is right now. Does that make sense?
It is. And this changes every year, correct?
Every year.
So it's always good to have a redo.
It is. So it is. And it's, so your solar return is every year on your birthday. And we can do transit charts of what is going on, like Saturn return. A lot of people want their Saturn return. That's like between 27 and 29. Saturn is the planet of, I think of it as the fence around the yard, all those rings. It's the karmic teacher. And have you learned all the lessons? And it's slow and steady. And so by the time somebody reaches about that 27, 28, 29, those are our 3 hard years. Then they say, okay, this is my Saturn return. I should have learned all this. Where do I go from here? and then it's supposed to get easier for you. And then your second Saturn return is like in your late 50s, you say, now I want, where do I end things? Like my last third of my life with ease and grace.
I like the way you say that, because it's nice to know that you have the opportunity to, take the guidance, shift your life, and be able to take the last third of your life if everything aligns.
Yep, work with the energy. Yeah.
Yeah. And know that the last third of your life are going to be whatever it is you envision it to be, however you want it, rather than struggle and challenge and anything else that comes along with it.
If you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, absolutely.
Yeah. Now you are going to be doing a workshop, the Pyramid Energy Exchange. Let's talk about the pyramid.
I have a copper healing pyramid. I absolutely love it. It can fit about 2 or 3 people in it. I had a friend of mine who's a Capricorn, so he's a perfectionist about everything. And he was, because that the measurements have to be perfect, and then they have to be touched at the corners or connected. So I use it for my women's retreats. And since that's on hold, I thought, okay, we're going to do this at Lilydale. That's also going to be on hold, but I use it in several different. You can sit underneath it and meditate, because underneath the earth there are ley lines, and think of them as energy highways. And when you put something on top of it, it makes a crossroads so that the energy goes up. And then, so the energy comes down and the energy goes up, and then you can receive downloads, you can receive healing. I use it to charge crystals. And so this is where people can get in it. And then other people work on the outside and receive messages for that person. There's so many ways I use it. I love it, but we need to get past this social distancing stuff. Yeah,
we do. We need to get healthy again, and you can get our country healthy, get our people healthy, and then we can start going and having our workshops and classes and all of that all over again.
Yeah.
But that sounds so interesting. Yeah, because that's when I found you, and I heard about the energy, the pyramid energy. I was like, I need to know more about this. This is fascinating.
I love it. People who normally do not feel things, when they're in it or around it working with other people, and then I remind them, if you receive a message, the message is not for you to keep. You are receiving it to give to the person that's on the inside. And at the women's retreats, it's kind of like an eye-opener it's their first experience of, oh my gosh, I should trust my intuition. This is, coming through to me for somebody else. I have this.
And it's a tool for psychic development. And we all have the ability. We just have to get out of our heads. That's what I've learned, is you need to get out of your head to be able to follow the intuition that's given to you, the guidance.
The guidance, yeah. Follow it. The angels and your spirit guides or your spirit animals. I believe in a little bit of everything. Yeah.
I believe in them all. I believe we have spirit guides. I believe we have ancestors that come in and help us. Angels help us.
Yes.
But certain ones come in, and the other ones you need to ask for the help.
I agree. I agree completely. And I've called upon a few in my life saying, I need this, not for me, but for somebody else. And the angels, I believe in the angels, spirit guides. All
totems, but they all have a place. Deities, gods, goddesses. I mean, all of these beings, they played a big role, and they still play a big role. They're just not seen like we're being seen right now in our shell. Right.
I remember writing sigils on the bottom of my kids' shoes for safety or for, So I believe in a little bit of everything.
And so what about your kids? How do they react to all of this that you do?
My kids were raised with it and didn't know that it was different until they went out there. Like, they were raised with me saying, cut cords and shield, when they were really little. Cut cords and shield. Like, when you are with somebody, I believe that there's like a silver cord that connects, and it can be through the airwaves or anywhere. And when you are done, you need to cut the cord and send their energy back to them and take your energy back to you. and then to shield, because we are energy beings and we don't want a vampire taking our energy, and we don't want to go to bed just losing our energy and giving it away. And my kids were raised with that, and that I could send love from my heart to their heart, and meditation, your good luck crystal, your good, like a lot of good luck charms or symbols on things. So they didn't realize that it was a little bit wonky until school. And then it's okay in the younger, and then it went through a weird phase, and now they're 27 and 25 and into it. Yeah.
It's an interesting path to go down, and it's different from the mainstream, but it's becoming so much more mainstream. So it's
Right.
great that your kids are sort of following in mama's footsteps.
Yeah, my son embraces it. My daughter, she just, I keep saying, Brianna, honey, you have got to, she doesn't want to have to feel the energy. She's like, I don't want to be around people. Well, then shield yourself. You know how like you can feel other people's energy.
She's empathic. She's
And
a
she doesn't want to
sponge.
say those words yet. And I'm like, okay, eventually she'll either say it or learn it. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. She can call herself an energy sponge. I mean, that's
Right?
what she is.
That's exactly what she is. Absolutely. So you get it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, of course, I'm highly empathic. So
Yeah.
I feel a lot. And so I make sure that I'm cleansing and clearing and constantly.
All the time. Absolutely. And I will say, here's some salt, but here's some sage, here's some incense. Yeah. Yeah. They, and then when people come to the house, I've now, filter. Your friends will filter themselves away from you if they're not accepting of.
Well, and here's the thing, it's vibration, right? So
Yeah,
you
it
say
is.
filter away, but your vibration is at a level. And if they're not vibrating at your level, something's going to happen, and they are not going to be able to be in your presence
Right.
for whatever the reason, whether it's a made up excuse or not. It is, they are not resonating at the same level as you are.
Right. I tell them people are in our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and accept it and move on. And you may see them again. It's okay. You planned this life. I tell people when I do their natal charts, if there's something cruddy that's gone on in your life, you chose to do that. You chose to learn that lesson that way and to learn from it. And I know that some of my lessons I chose to actually do myself, and then some of them I chose to learn as an observer, which is harder because we'd rather go through it ourselves. So it's all about choices and energy, and it's all related. It's all connected.
It is. Well, first of all, we're all connected. And it's like, if you visualize it, we're all weaved together in some aspect or another.
Yeah, we are one family. Yeah.
Which could be very comforting when you think of it that way. Instead of feeling alienated or separate, it really brings the joining together and making you feel cohesively tight.
Okay. And I said that there's no reason to have competition. We're all here to support each other. Raise the vibration of being together. Together we are stronger than apart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about some experiences you had that like stories that just really were like, whoa, type of stories. So we'll be right back.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. That's great though with your kids.
Yeah, I've been tested with my children. I'm telling you, the angels, I called upon Archangel Michael because my daughter she was in rehab 3 times. So she's now going to be, August 1st will be 3 years clean and sober. So hallelujah for that. But, as an empath, I dreamed and I saw where she was. I could see her. It was terrible knowing what she's going through.
Hang on one second. Matt, did we get clear? I said we're going on break, but I haven't heard from Matt.
Yeah, I thought you said that, and then you kind of just kept going. So I take the music back down and left you live because I wasn't sure that there was actually a break there.
No, there's a break.
Okay, well, we're clear now.
Okay, thanks.
Right.
Mercury in retrograde.
Mercury in retrograde.
But you just have to laugh about it, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I'm going with the flow.
Well, the reason is I'm see this what I'm getting is she's so hesitant and so resistant about all the energetic, intuitive things that she's gone the other way. And I think she hears and sees things, and she went into that dark place that she went into that she had to work so hard to get out of because it was her way of running away and hiding from it. But there is no way to run. There's no way to run away from it.
And I've tried to tell her, it's not like you can shut this stuff off. It's not, that's not what happens. Okay. Yeah. So, yes. So, I told her, you need to cut cords, you need to shield, and you will, come out of this stronger. Yeah.
And it's so true. It's so important that people court you. And sometimes you don't even want to be courted by them.
Right.
I mean, it's not always friends and family. I mean, sometimes you could be walking down the street and someone goes, oh, I like that energy. And
they do. They're like energy vampires. And kids, animals, not in a bad way, kids and animals, they just gravitate and enjoy it. And then people I have to remind to cut cords and shield with them, or send them love and light. I have send out love bubbles, driving down the road and send out love bubbles and saying, okay, you obviously are having a rough day. You need it.
Yeah. And I like to fill mine with lavender and pink and send it back with them. Lavender and pink light.
That's really good.
Thank you.
That's really good. I like that. Lavender and pink. Well, lavender for higher, and then, okay. Yeah.
Pink for heart and love and
Pink
compassion.
for heart and love. Yes.
Yeah, you can add some gold in there if you want. You can add some green if you want for healing, whatever it is. But it's the colors of your choice. Those are just happen to be my colors.
Your colors. I send sparkles, like glitter. And
I love that.
Yeah, bags. Just glitter, all kinds of different glitter. Yeah.
So for the people who are watching the behind the scenes, when you send glitter, can you just share how you just set the intention to send glitter, or how you send glitter to somebody?
I believe that when I'm surrounding myself, like my bubble is glitter, and then there are times when I've changed the color of it, or if I'm going into a situation that I'm not comfortable, I will imagine it as an eggshell, and that I am safe in the eggshell, and it's not transparent. You cannot see through. So then I feel safer about it. And then I just imagine, sending out love bubbles, or, and then when it pops, it's just glitter all over them. And then because sparkles make everybody smile. Like, how could you not smile for glitter and sparkles?
As you can tell behind me, I love my sparkles.
I do too. Sending out the love.
Exactly.
All right, we're just about
Send
to
the light. Okay. Thanks, Matt. Back to it.
Okay.
You are listening to Guided Spirit Conversations. To reach Marla Goldberg or her guest today, you're invited to call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. If you'd rather send an email, the address is guidedspiritconversations@gmail.com. Now, back to this week's program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, I'm here with Willow Grace Mystic. And Willow is a certified Reiki Master teacher. She's an astrology and tarot consultant. She offers educational workshops. She does educational workshops at Lilydale Assembly and online. She organizes retreats for women, health and holistic, psychic fairs. She just is a busy woman. She also has her own podcast called Divine Discussions, which I love that name, where that explores and educates the public to help make people make choices that they can maintain their optimal health with. And Willow also shares her newsletter twice a month called Lunar Wisdom. So welcome back. Oh, one more thing. If you want to reach Willow, her email is willowgrace143@gmail.com, and check out her website at www.willowgracemystik.com, willowmystik.com. Welcome back, Willow.
Thank you. Thank you.
So happy to have you back. We're going to do charity shout out, and you have asphome.org as your charity today.
I love Appalachian Service Projects. So I got involved. My husband's mother said she wanted all the grandchildren to go on a mission trip with her. And I knew my kids were too young at the time to go alone. Well, I knew my daughter would not go that far alone working on, because you actually go and work on the homes and you go into West Virginia. And so I decided to go with them. And there were 3 churches that were together to go, and it's many churches all over the area. And their belief is warmer, safer, drier. And they have adults working with children, and you actually go in and you work on the house. So you're putting on a tin roof, you're putting in flooring, you're painting, you're stripping things. I mean, it's for the people who they don't have the means to do it themselves. And so they bring in a crew, and our group was usually, there's like 90 some people. So they break you off into 8 and 9 per household. And I've been doing it ever since. So I think it's like 10 or 11 years. Now this year it did get canceled. Breaks my heart, because I love to go back, but I stay in touch with the families that I've been with through Facebook and email. But the work is so good. Every penny goes to making their life more manageable, more safer, warmer, drier. Yeah.
I love that. That is just safer, warmer, drier. Don't we want everybody to be safer, warmer, drier?
Right. And when you go in, you're tearing off an old roof and you're putting on a tin roof. They use quality materials so that it doesn't have to be done again in their lifetime. And I keep saying, okay, I'm in my 50s. This is going to be my last year. This is going to be like, it's hard work. It's, it's
physical.
It's physical work that, it's physical work. And every year I keep saying, oh, this is the last year. Now this year is a past year because of this. But, and then I participate in the fundraiser sport. So please, asp.home, I believe is their
.org.
.org.
asphome.org.
Home.org. And an amazing group that helps others. Yeah. In our United States.
Thank you. So it's just everywhere in the United States they do this.
Well, it's the Appalachian Service Project. So it's all along the Appalachian Mountains. And I used to say Appalachian. And I asked one of the homeowners, hey, help me to understand how you say this. And she said, well, you're walking up the hill and a bear's chasing you, and you climb up that tree and you say, get away from me or I'm going to throw an apple at you. And I said, I will always,
Appalachia.
And I'm going to throw an apple at you. And I said, oh, Annie, I'm always going to remember that. Thank you. And so I love the families that I work with. They're nice, like we have lunch with them every day. For that week. So you get to know them on a personal level, and they're so appreciative. They can't get up on the roof, do that. They can't put on siding. They can't put in the flooring, or you're remodeling their bathroom and making it handicap accessible. You are making a difference with your own hands.
That must be so fulfilling. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So how can people support ASP Home?
Well, okay, they can either donate money, or they can donate their time and actually choose, find a church to go down there with, or get a group of people and they can contact them and sign up. There are some people who they do it year round. They'll go down for like a long weekend. You don't have to do a whole week. Either donate money or time. That's all it comes down to. Or when they're having fundraisers, buy whatever they have to support what they're selling.
That's fabulous. Okay, asphome.org. Great organization, helps people. Say it again. Dry.
Appalachian. Oh, so they can be warmer, safer, drier. So
Warmer,
they
safer,
put
drier.
we put roofs on, and they do siding and flooring. A lot of times when you get to the home, the first crew goes in, because the homes are generally on a hill. They have to dig a French drain or like a ditch in the back,
Oh,
and then you put in the gravel and the pipe. So the water runoff goes to the front. Then the second week comes in, they tear out the flooring of the house and put in new flooring. So it's not like walking through it. And then the next crew does roof, metal roof, or siding, around it, and generally you buy them a gift. Like we raise money to buy them things that they don't have, maybe a microwave or some, like things like that. New doors, new windows.
Which are so important. Doors and windows, very important.
You would not
Keep
think
out the element.
right, that people need these things and they need it. And so they're so appreciative. So yeah, check them out, help them out, love them.
It sounds like a great group to help. It sounds like they really need it. So I'm going to move over. I'd love to hear some stories that you have experienced with some of your clients.
My first women's retreat was so fulfilling. I was working with my mentor, and we were putting on a spring and a fall, and there's always a theme. And the very first one, the schedule stays about the same, where you meet, you share things, and you team up with someone, and it was during that time that you take time to share your story. And I didn't realize how impactful it was until the end, when we had tea and chocolate at the end, to ground us and to send us off. And one woman volunteered she had tears in her eyes and said, I connected so much with this group. This was the first time I could tell my story. I was not interrupted, and it was believed and not judged. And the choices that I made in life, I did with what I could at the time. And she said, and the person that I was with had a similar story. And I think that that's how divine connections happen. When people come together, it's for a reason. And so then the other women were volunteering, because we did not share our stories with the whole group. You only shared it with one person. And everybody else was then saying, well, this is synchronicity, because I have shared with so-and-so, and this is my connection with them. And there were age difference. It was amazing what came out of it. So then I said, okay, this is something that has to be done fall and spring. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
My phone is off, but something else is ringing, so I apologize.
Mercury. We're just going to enjoy that Mercury.
It is Mercury. And it's so funny. It's somebody who should know that I'm doing my show right now. So
there you go. It's okay.
But that sounds amazing. And it's true, because when you've gone to classes, physical classes, I've gone to physical classes, and you end up being with the people you're meant to be with for whatever the reason are, there's a resonance.
It is. And I believe that I will find my tribe, or my tribe will find me. And when I sometimes think about, oh, I'm missing out on this, or, oh, should I be doing this? That's when I'm not trusting. That's when I have to say, stop, ground, center, and just trust that it will happen.
And you have a wonderful tip to living a happy and fulfilling life. Because it talks about trust.
It is. It's about trusting our instinct, trusting our spirit guides, trusting that the universe is going to provide for us. I believe that there's so many modalities that are out there, so many people that could help us. If, like you can go to musical therapy with drumming and tuning forks and bowls, or you can go to a shaman, or you can go to a chiropractor, or you can check out oils. But it's about, what do I trust? I need to trust my guides, my angels, myself, in what is going to be good for me.
Absolutely. And it's so important. So I think you wrote to me as, trust and love yourself, surround yourself with people who support you on your path and believe in you. And
Absolutely.
That is such an important tip for people to live a happy and fulfilling life, instead of worrying about those who are judging you.
Right.
Or projecting on you, or jealousies, or whatever it might be.
Right. Or thinking that I wish I would have, that missing out of. Woulda, coulda. I can't live with the woulda, coulda. I have to say, that's your path. You chose it. This is my path. And how am I going to best work it to my highest good? And it was meant to be that I'm here doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, you are where you're at, meant to be.
And you are, what I learned, you are where you are because you need to learn what you need to learn in that place. And then you move to the next place, because life is fluid.
Life is fluid. We're on the earth for schooling. We're on, you know, like our lifetime is for education. Yeah.
It certainly is. Well, Willow, thank you so much. I can't believe the hour is up. It's gone so quickly. I really appreciate you being here, sharing your story, sharing your information, your wisdom with the audience. So for everybody out there, if you want to get in touch with Willow, her email is willowgrace143@gmail.com. Email, Gmail, I'm getting confused. And her website is Willow Grace Mystic with a K. So it's willowgracemystik.com. Thank you so much. It has just been such a pleasure meeting you and having our conversation.
All right. Thank
I
you.
knew it was going to be good. So, and I want to thank everyone at Voice America for all you do to get this show on and heard in a beautiful way. I want to thank Teresa Scott Reed and Bridget, my new second assistant, for all you do, because you're both right arms and left arms of me. You keep me going, you keep me moving, and I'm so grateful for you every day. And I want to thank you, the listening and viewing audience, for taking the time out of your life, out of your day to participate in this podcast, because without you, what would I be sharing, right? It's to help and give you tips, tools, techniques to help shift, enhance, or tweak your life as you may want to through the information of my guests, who are such special, talented, and gifted people. So I want to say thank you. And I also want to just really quickly say two things. First of all, my sacred journal will be coming out on the 1st of July. And that is to support my book, My Effing Long Journey to Loving Myself, A Guide to a Shorter Path. If you like the show, please go to YouTube on my channel, like it, subscribe to it so you don't miss one single episode. Thank you so much. Until the next time, I wish you love, blessings, and gratitude. Stay well. Please be considerate of others during this crazy time so you can stay healthy and you can keep others healthy. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.